Hello, this video is part of the series that I talk about my journey of connecting with Shayla and what I learned through it and so on. But this video is going to be about me and my sexuality because I received some questions about it, but also I learned something about myself through my life and through the journey about discovering my sexuality and so on, that can be helpful for others to also, and mostly I think it's for the women that are also even like heterosexual, but they feel some kind of attraction to women, that this can give you some understanding like what is that, because I was having also, I wanted to explain these things, but also even like the last 2 days, like it was even like too much showing in my reality that people are interested in this and talking me about this, so I want to talk about that, these things. And yeah, I wanted to talk about other things that maybe I will not put into this video, but yeah, I would like to explain, so there will maybe more videos around this. So I would like to be short. I am trying to record this for, I don't know, third time at least, to make it short. So yeah, last episode was about January 2016, and next is like what was happening in February 2016 and so on. But before that, when I was thinking about describing it, I felt like talking about other things before that. So even if you are new, you can also check the previous videos about it, about my journey with it. I got questioned before about like what's my sexuality then, or so when I have a twin flame that is female also. Like how is it maybe affecting me, or what is it like? The question was more placed like my sexuality is a reason for me to have a female twin flame, but actually I feel it's more in opposite way, that me having twin flame and choosing the certain things for this life is making me to be like more into women. So this is the answer for it, that I feel is more in align with this thing. And yeah, it's not also about like my connection with her, but also my whole role also in here. Topic is sexuality for me, my main theme in this life, so that's why I would like to talk about it. So my attraction was visible from my early age, that I felt that I was really interested in women, femininity and so on, not attracted by them. But of course the small child, like 5-year-old, doesn't have that like sexual pull or something, but still the sexuality is also in a child, so there can be something about it. But also this love that I am talking about is also not just about sexuality level of sex, but it's on many levels. The love is shared. The first thing is the heart, and then it goes into whole body. So I was feeling this attraction also, although because I was having meetings with Shayla. I was meeting her even when I was a small child, and I have recollections of some memories, not like a full, or it's more like a download that I received and felt. But it gave me also sense to many things that I was feeling throughout my life, that I was having these connections with her even when I was a child. So in a twin flame connection, or at least how I am experiencing it, that's even when I was a child there was still deep connection between us. And even when she visited me, took me when I was a small child, I always had that romantic love towards her, and it was obvious even when I was a child. But in a like a normal life. I like these were also memories coming from me, subconsciousness that I was into her, and also in some way like a femininity was attracting me, that I was like cutting out like women in underwear, or not often. I remember just one memory that I did it, and it was. And it is one redhead from Spice Girls. She was in underwear, in a black bra and so on, and erotic. It was very erotic, and I know that I was at the time in a kindergarten, so I was less than 6 years old. But I liked it, and I cut it out, and I was hiding it because I like to look at it. So even at the time, it's still not sexual, but there was some attraction. But then also my mom told me later when I came out to her, I was probably 22 or so, I'm not sure. When I told her about it, she told me that she was thinking about it, or I had some, like suspicions or so, because she had a friend that had also like a gay daughter, and she was telling like later like how she was actually seeing it and not realizing like how she was behaving even when she was a child. It was in some way visible, and when she was telling this to my mom, I was small, and she was realizing that she's seeing the same things with me. So that's interesting. I asked her then, of course, like, tell me, like, what are those things, so I can understand myself more, when this is visible even at the child, at the time, like when you were a child, but she was not able to remember. It's probably something not so tangible or so. But anyway, so yeah, I had this attraction my whole life, and later when I got into puberty and maturing sexually or so, or getting adult, I started to question my sexuality, because it was always and I never had any relationships also, but there was this feeling in me, and even like when there were moments when I fell in love with some character in some movie or so, even when I was 14, I remember once that I was in love with this because it was just like moment in a movie. It was not so visible, but there were like a breasts in a kind of like dark, and that really stuck with me, or like had this I had this strong feeling, and I know because after that I was before I was going to sleep, I was imagining it, that moment, and like really being attracted to those breasts. It was very like erotic, but not so sexual, and I was in love, and I now know that I was even at the time connecting with Shayla before sleep, and so I was having a lot of these connections with her when I didn't know that it was something about really someone that I was connecting with and being even with me. So there was a lot of even like underlying trauma of thinking that I'm missing someone and not really knowing it in someone. But it's not that much part of the story, but yeah. So for me, at the time, attraction to women wasn't anything strange or so, but when I mentioned it then to my schoolmates, I got some kind of rejection, or this kind of reaction, and I blocked myself towards breath after that. And yeah, so I think I was talking about this actually in a previous episode, when I got really hurt by it, and Shayla was then unlocking it, or trying me to unlock, because it was not just in a general way block towards women or intimacy, but actually even directly towards her, because that memory was subconscious memory of her, in our meetings, even when I was 14 and so on. So yeah, there was this level of something being unconscious to me, but still, like when I take just the part that I was conscious about, yeah, I was falling in love with the women in movies or series and so on, and sometimes teachers. And yeah, so many times, well, I had around that time also some shifts that I was very depressed, and then I shifted into very positive way of looking at things, and more patient and accepting, like in few years something will change or so. And so when I was searching then for feeling of being in love, because I was enjoying, I was not wanting that much in like a relationship or anything. I just was enjoying that feeling of being in love. And this is also what I wanted to say, is that what I discovered later, it was maybe in 2014, I got this realization that those moments when I was falling in love with a woman, that woman has something, some part of the, like a divine femininity, and I was just collecting those energies for me and integrating into myself. But this was very resonating with me, and this is what was happening, because when I later met, for example, after a few years, the person that I was in love before, and I was like, why I was in love with this person before? That, like, there is nothing that is so attractive for me anymore in this person. So I realized that it's because being in love state, and even, you know, like being in love with your job and everything, it's the best way to actually learn, and, you know, that excitement to learn and to copy things, you know, to copy the frequency, the pattern, or something like that. So for me, falling in love was really like gathering feminine energies and integrating into myself. And I still resonate with that. That it was true. And later, when I started to connect with Shayla, I realized that yes, this was also because I was gathering these parts within myself to become more in alignment with her, because she is more upgraded, kind of like a woman, and so I needed to upgrade myself. Even probably it was leading me to be more empathetic and, you know, this higher abilities in a way to have. So in some ways it was just really upgrading me to get more like her, to have more of those feminine energies in me. So this is what I think that is happening in general when someone is in love and it's, for example, not reciprocal. And even when it is, the really, when someone is having these in love feelings, I feel that it's really mostly about gaining something for yourself, opening yourself, to your own energy that you are using as a, you know, this other person is a permission slip to feel your own self-love through them. And this is also what I understood later when I was having dreams with Shayla, but I didn't know it was her. I was not aware of that. Actually, I can have like a dreams. Well, it was obviously astral projection, but at the time I didn't know like how to distinguish between them. And I think I'm just really always projecting, not lucid dreaming. I don't know. It seems to me like it, but yeah, I was projecting and having dates with her. And I learned also at the time, like what resonated, like what those dreams were about, was that I was meeting and merging wider self of me, of myself, and that resonated with me. And I was following these dreams, and each time when I had a dream, I had these in love feelings in me, and each time I turn it to myself and grounding it, that it's love that I feel for myself. And later it was opening more, and I learned some things through it. And I wanted to say something more about it, but I forgot what it was. yeah. So yeah, this is the in love feeling, and for me, uh, so what I don't know what I wanted to say. Maybe I will remember later. Um, so yeah, and another thing that I also wanted to say, of course, it was not always so easy for me. There was also the later, when people are in relationships and so on, or like exploring more. I felt like I'm supposed to also be with someone, and so I wanted to be with someone, or this kind of things, like maybe searching for some relationship, wanting it. So great part of it was also because of this, like I was maybe supposed to. But part of it was also like those unconscious memories of having a relationship with the Shayla. But yeah, so it was not very good for me because I was falling into, not when I was in love. There are two states, when you are, to like actually closing yourself to receive love, feel love, and you just desiring something external. And then there is the positive way of being in love when you are enjoying just the feeling and let yourself to be filled and fulfilled by it. So I was going later into those kind of feelings, and even like it was like 9 years or so when I was not sure about like what am I, like what is my orientation. I was thinking about it, it was very stressful for me. I was not sharing with anyone or so. Those years were very, very stressful, and I also gained a lot of trauma during those times, reading negative articles, homophobic and this kind of stuff. And so at some point, when I was really almost like shaking each time when I was reading something like it, and thinking about it, like, so what? I just decided that I will not think about it, and I will identify that, okay, I'm lesbian. Maybe I'm not. What really resonated with me was that I am interested in women, but interested in women would apply even for those who identify being heterosexual or something. Because being interested in women, that sentence means many things. So homosexuality was never really the definition that I would be, or lesbian that I would be identifying really deeply. Only being interested in women, and I could never imagine myself in a relationship that others were doing. I always was searching, or not searching, but wanted something deeper. For me, there was no choice, or choice to go into relationship without first having a true deep friendship connection and go through that I was always going into these kind of things, but I never was able to even make this kind of like a deeper friendship. I had one friendship like this, and it was with a man, but we eventually also ended up trying sex, but that didn't well good because the frequency changed. It was not very, very good. Like almost like he didn't know like how to make love with me or something. He was experienced more with me, and I was asking myself, like within myself, like how was he doing it then with others? Like, yeah, because I was more in my heart and trying to connect that way, and he was moving himself into like a sexual actor, But yeah, I maybe will talk about this kind of stuff in other videos later, and that's what I learned around these things. But yeah, I need to somehow process like what what to tell you, or if I want, or how. So yeah, so I realized that okay, I had a depression after it, and I couldn't connect with him in such a deep friendship way anymore because it was, it just got fucked up in a way, and we never connected enough. And we had still like a very close connection or friendship, but not like and before that, and then I still was questioning myself until recent years, like if I am really into women or men. I was confused about it, and for me what it means to be like into women, or like what I will try to say it this way. Like what I found out, why I was hesitating about myself, and maybe still part of me is that like what is the like a feeling of being completely homosexual or heterosexual, in a way, like how it's like a programming or beliefs around it that are easily shown in like a negative reaction towards homosexuality from men. Like if you would ask, like a man, if they ever, like thought about connecting with other men or so, it's more taboo, for example, or more like between men and then women. And there is also this like almost when they are in this patriarchal world, it's almost like this is defining if you are homo or not. That you are not because you are disgusted by the same gender. And I was never disgusted, so that's why there was a question always, like, so I realized that that this is why I was always hesitating, that I don't find even for myself, not in a general way, but for myself, connecting in an intimate way with a man, or like having his penis in my vagina. I mean, this is not disgusting, but I don't really want it. So it's not that like a strong pull away from some experience like it. It's just I never find really enough resonance to go into it, that kind of connection with a man, or like even like a close friendship with a man and so on. So that's why I was confused. But yeah, even like with Shayla and also then with Willa, especially Willa was showing me this, that she really wanted me to finally accept myself just being into women. And still, even when I was feeling the shifts within my energy and how I was opening that this is true, I still was having the question mark, like, yeah, but I don't want to be close, like, to what if in the future I can have, like, if there is some, like a relationship that I have to have from some reason with a man, and then I will be close and blah, blah, So yeah, I still was like this, but I don't really want to close anything. Of course, it's not about that, like closing, but really in some way staying still open, not get disgusted by anything, but really seeing. It's almost like a conscious choice or decision that I will really know myself, that I am really into women. And when I think about like women, and well, especially ETs, that I connected recently with, also that's on my experiences, that my soul is really getting excited about these connections and working even with the women and feminine energy and so on. That for me is really part of like who I am and what I can share, even like a healing energies and so on. That for me it's not like that I want to fuck women, or that it's like I'm searching for relationships also, but I really love to give females certain experiences with my energy and so on, and even in a way like I'm giving my essence, like who I am into it. So that is my like being me. And yeah, so I was so this is the part that I wanted to like say towards other women that are not like into like relationships with women, but something is attracting them. So the part that mostly I guess would give you that understand like what that can be is, yes, that's true, that you are just connecting with your own femininity to it, because when it's like not, I don't resonate that with like two different polarities are attracting themselves, or something happens, that I feel, and I was receiving that actually, yes, something happens there, but when you connect actually the same energies, like physical feminine energies together, expansion can be even several times stronger in some way when you share this. It's kind of connection, and also it's like with the man, because you are kind of like meeting very similar energy to you, and you maybe are more open, or so. It's hard to say. Maybe it's like a twin flame, when twin flame is like the most expansive type of connection that you can have, and deep, and it's about like in a way similarity between two beings. Twin flame is defined, I think, about like the resonance, that you are very similar. I guess it's called twin. Your resonances are very similar, and most similar from anyone. So that's why you are twin flame, that you have that label. So yeah, so I guess that's all I wanted to say about this. Yeah, then I get also a question like if I was having relationships. No, I don't have physical relationships. I don't have experiences with it. Almost at all. I wouldn't say that I was even in a relationship proper. Just with the Shayla or Willa. I also see that like a relationship, but like really the pure relationship, as I would say it's what I experienced with the Shayla. And so yeah, I never was. And the question was like if I had some traumatic experience. Well, the first thing is like yeah, it's not about like in a 3D way, but we have many connections also with different like parallel lives and so on, other incarnations, energetic in a collective consciousness. So that trauma is there, like for anyone, and can be influenced by it. But this is not like the case. And of course, I also had like energetic intruders experiences. So that was like most physical negative experience sexual that I had. But it was just one, I think. I'm not sure right now. I remember one. Yeah, so that kind of things can also be blocking. But my reason, like why I was not in a relationship or I didn't get to it was not about block. It was about that for me it resonated in a certain way that nobody could relate to me. That just look at me, how I talk, how I am open. I won't do even a relationship or friendships in a way that is deep and is authentic and sincere. And even that with the people is I found out difficult, because people don't, for example, know themselves, even don't understand themselves. So how can I connect with someone who doesn't know themselves, or cannot go deep inside of themselves to be able to go in that same depth with me? So that's why I never got far. And even I was feeling sometimes that people were afraid of me, or I didn't even like. I had just maybe one opportunity many years ago or this kind of feeling that this could lead somewhere, but yeah, we got stuck on going deeper in a friendship way. So yeah, so that was something like just really want. I also had some other connections, but it was completely like different type, and it was more about like spirituality. It was with more spiritual people, and it was mostly about some lessons and some co-creation, maybe healing energies and this kind of stuff. So it was never like really relationships or so, or trying to head into some idea of a relationship or dating someone. So yeah, my experiences I already told you, so obviously I don't have. But I have really interesting and energetic experiences, and that's why I'm talking about this first. That I find it that I'm even like, maybe this is the reason like why I don't have, or is a good reason that I can provide insights from like opposites way of doing stuff, energetic and apply it to what I learned from it into like a physical relationship, what I see in Earth, and because this gives you or me completely different viewpoint about these things or what I learned, and I was learning through like you need to open, and when you are opening, you can do it in a really like true way and get stabilize yourself in it. So when you are in some denial or illusions, it cannot be opening. So I was learning some really interesting things through it and finding out some, let's say, truths for myself. But of course, I will offer them, and you can take them or not. So yeah, so I guess that would be all I wanted to say. I probably forgot some stuff, but this is probably mostly important what I wanted to say about that. Well, if you have some other questions that I maybe forgot, you can remind me by asking. And maybe, yeah, I will probably do a little bit more, because I wanted to talk about also Shayla and her sexuality and how it's relating with me, and how I still have more to talk about it, like how I understand some more things. And so that would be in another video. This is already not long, so half an hour or so. Because it's also next time I will still continue in this kind of talk, and later I will get finally into some more specific things, like how our connection will unfolding and opening much stronger in sensual ways than erotic and sexual, energetic, of course, and physical. So yeah. So yeah, this is what I wanted to say before I will go into like these more details things what I learned through what was happening with me later. So yeah, that's all for now, and stay tuned, and probably soon I will record some more about this. So bye bye.